Welcome to the latest edition of Bigin's Masterclass, which is going to be all about automation. In this webinar, we'll be taking a look at the exhaustive list of features that Bigin offers to help you automate small yet integral tasks that go into running your business. I'm Harini, a product marketer here at Bigin, and joining us today is Stilton, Team Lead Customer Support, who is going to answer all of your queries. Now I'd like to request Stilton to introduce himself to the audience.
This is Tilton here. I'm a team lead with Bigin Support. So I'll be more than happy to have all your queries answered. Please do post your queries in the Q&A box and I'll try to get it answered then and there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stilton, and I'm very excited to listen to all the insights that you have to share today. Um, With that, I'll just like to share some of the things that you'll have to keep in mind during the presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the Q&A box. Apart from that, I'll also be posting polls during the presentation, and I'd request you all to engage with the same. How about we kick things off with a poll? We'd like to understand how many of you are currently using automation for running their business. I have posted the poll and I request you all to engage with it. From what I can see, close to 70% of you haven't adopted automation yet, which means that this webinar is perfect for you because we are going to take a look at all the features that Bigin offers to help you automate repetitive yet integral tasks, thus saving you a lot of time and effort. Let's understand what automation is. Business automation refers to leveraging technology to do away with a lot of time consuming and error prone manual processes. Activities like entering the data of your leads and customers into your CRM, the scheduling of follow ups and meetings, the assignment of leads, the sending out of emails, and even the logging of the calls that you've had with your customers are the examples of some of the activities which may seem small, but when added up, end up taking a huge chunk of you and your team's day and effort. This is where Bigin will step in. By automating these tasks, you will be able to free up your skilled employees so that they can pursue revenue generating activities. Let's take the example of Zilker Corp, an electronics company which deals with selling of home appliances, and understand how they can ramp up their business with automation. Let's kick things off with one of Bigin's beloved features, forms, which will help you streamline customer data collection. Zilker generates leads through social media ads, through physical banners, and it also collects lead information from people who walk into its stores. Instead of having a dedicated person to enter all of the lead information into Bigin, Zilker can create a form which will automatically collect lead data and convert it into records in Bigin. How about we head to Bigin and create our first form? Click on Settings and choose Forms and click on the New Form option. Now we have two types of forms here, and if you choose pipeline forms, you'll create a form which will automatically capture all the data entered and convert it into record in the specified pipeline. When you create a contact form, you'll be converting the data which was collected into records in either the contacts or the company's module. In this case, we are going to create a form which will help Zilker capture all their leads, and they store their leads in the contact module. So we'll create a contact form. You can enter a title for your form, and then you can simply drag and drop the fields that need to be included in the form. Once that's done, you can use one of Begin's many formatting options to change how your form looks. Once you've added all the desired fields, you can click on Next Step and then add a unique name for your form, following which you can assign the records which were created through the form to particular members in your team. Let's say we are going to assign all the records generated through this form to Amelia. You can also notify Amelia whenever a new record is generated. You can also differentiate the records generated through this form using tags. Let's say that Zilker is going to add this form to their social media ads. They can segment the leads by adding. Once that's done, you can enable the double opt-in option, which will send a confirmation email to the visitor. And then you can also enable the acknowledge visitor button, which will acknowledge the visitor who have entered the information by sending them an email. Apart from that, you can also enable the request for approval button, which will allow you to screen all the records which were generated through this form before they get added to the contacts module. Once you've chosen all the desired settings, you can decide what your visitor will see after they've entered the information. They can either look at a simple thank you message, or you can redirect them to a separate page. Now click on Save and Next, and your form is now created. You can share this form across social media sites, or you can copy this link and attach it to an SMS, to a WhatsApp message, or even your emails. You can even embed this form in your web page, or you can take a printout of this QR code and attach it to brochures and physical banners. Click on Done, and your form is now created. The utility of forms is not just limited to lead generation. Forms can be used to collect a wide range of data, ranging from customer complaints to testimonials. Zilker has already created another form which helps them collect orders from regular customers. All they do is share the order placement form with their customers, and their customers can fill in their requirements, and the data which is collected through the order placement form will automatically be converted into records in the order fulfillment pipeline, allowing Zilker to process those orders. Now that you've understood how you can streamline the collection of customer data, let's move on to one of Begin's flagship features, workflows. With workflows, you can automate a wide array of functions ranging from lead assignment, sending out of emails, scheduling of follow-ups, lead segmentation, and more in 3 simple steps. How about we head to Begin and create a few workflows which can help Zilker out. Click on Settings, choose Automation, head to the Workflow tab and select the new workflow option. Let's say Zilker has a team of sales personnel, and each of the sales people handle the sale of different products. Now, whenever a new lead comes in, we are going to create a workflow which will automatically assign that lead to the concerned salesperson based on their requirement. In order to do so, you'll have to choose the module as contacts, because that is where Zilker stores all of its leads. The workflow name can be lead assignment. Now you can add a description for your reference. On next, and let's start crafting our workflow. Before we start doing that, I'd like to take you through the components in a workflow. The first one is the trigger, which will specify when a workflow is set into motion. Next, we have the condition, which will specify which records to which the workflow will will be applicable to. Next, we have actions, which will specify what will happen when the workflow is triggered. We have two types of actions. The first one being an instant action, which will get triggered as soon as the workflow is set into motion. Next, we have scheduled actions, which will get triggered after the stipulated time period. Let's create a workflow which will automatically assign leads based on their requirements. In this case, the trigger is that a new lead is created. The condition which needs to be met is that their requirement is a TV. Now, we are going to assign this particular lead to Amelia, who handles the sale of all TVs. Click on the assign owner option, and then you can choose the person who will be handling that particular lead. Click on save, choose save, and just like that, a workflow is now created. Now, every time you create a lead and you know that their requirement is that they need a TV, that lead will automatically get assigned to Amelia. Okay, so now you've assigned the leads to the concerned salesperson. According to Zilker's sales process, a sales personnel has to contact the lead within a day of the lead creation. Now, instead of asking its salespeople to manually schedule the call, Zilker can create a workflow which will automatically schedule the first call as soon as the lead is added to Bigin. In order to do so, you can click on the new workflow button. The module that we're going to choose is contacts. The workflow name can be scheduling the first call, and then you can add a description for your reference. Click on next, and now the trigger in this case is that it has been a day since the creation of the record. So now we'll choose a date field on which the workflow should be triggered. So that can be the created time. And then the date of execution of the workflow is 1 day after the record was created. And click on next. The condition is that particular lead is owned by Amelia. Click on next. And now the action that we are going to execute is that we have to create a task which will notify Amelia that she'll have to contact the said lead. If we can set the task name as the first call. Once that's done, you can set up a reminder and notify Amelia that she needs to contact the lead. Click on save. Again, click on save, and your workflow is now created. These two are just the tip of the iceberg. Using workflows, you can automate the entirety of your sales process. For example, let's say that Amelia has successfully wooed a customer. Now, instead of sitting down and crafting an individual email, she can set up a workflow which will automatically send out an email every time a lead is converted into a happy paying customer. Bigin's automation will not only help you automate your sales process, but also every other aspect of your business. Let's take a look at a feature which will help you transfer data from one team to the other effectively and seamlessly. Zilker manages all of its orders using the order fulfillment pipeline. Then, once the order is shipped, it also offers its customers an installation. It manages all the installation process using the installation pipeline. Every time an order is shipped, it is extremely difficult for Zilker's team members to take the data present in the order fulfillment pipeline and then add it to the installation pipeline. Instead, they can create a connected record which will automate the handoff of information between these two teams. Let's head to Bigin and create a workflow for automating this data transfer. Click on New Workflow. In this case, we'll be choosing a pipeline, which is going to be the order fulfillment pipeline. The workflow name can be transfer of data to the installation pipeline, and then you can add a description for your reference. Click on Next. Now, the trigger is going to be that the stage of a particular order is edited. Condition is that the edited stage is shipped, which means that a particular order in the order fulfillment pipeline has been moved to the shipped stage. Once an order has been shipped, we can create a connected record which will automatically transfer all the data present in that order to the installation pipeline. Thus, we are going to choose installation pipeline here and then click on Next. You can map how the information present in your order fulfillment pipeline will get added to your installation pipeline. Once that's done, you can click on Save. Save, and your workflow is created. Now, every time an order is shipped, a new record will automatically get added to the first stage of your installation pipeline so that Zilker's installation team can process it as quickly as possible. Now, we've understood how Bigin can help you automate different processes in your business. Let's understand how this automation can help you manage the communication directed towards different teams. Before we dive into this feature, I'm going to post a poll to help us better understand how you are managing the customer emails directed towards different teams. I'm going to start the poll and I request you all to engage with the same. Thank you so much for responding. And from what I can see, almost 60% of you don't have a system in place for this. And I have some good news for you because Bigin's topping email in is designed to help you do just that. With email in, you can create separate email aliases for different teams. You can create a separate email ID for your customer support team, a different one for your sales team, and another one for your testimonial collection team. Whenever a customer sends an email to any of these email IDs, a new record will automatically be created in the pipeline which is connected to the said ID. How about we create an email alias for Zilker's customer support team? Click on settings, choose toppings, and you'll have to install the email in topping. Once you've done that, you can create a new email alias. In this case, we are creating an email alias for Zilka's customer support team. So we can name it as help, and then you can add a friendly name for your reference. You can choose the pipeline in which the records are going to get added to. You can also assign the records created through email into particular members in your team. And then you can also differentiate the said records using tags. Once that is done, you can click on save. And now the email alias is created. How about I show you a live example of how a record is going to get created. Let's just send an email to this ID and let's head to pipelines. Click on the customer support pipeline, and would you look at that? A new record is now created based on the email that was sent to the email ID. You can view the email from this record, you can reply to it from the same screen, and you can add comments for you and your team's reference. Just like that, now you found a way to manage the communication you have with your customers. Next, we'll be taking a look at one of Bigin's latest features, stage automation, which is quite similar to workflows, and it will help you automate time-sensitive actions linked to particular stages in your business process. How about we create stage automation for our customer support pipeline? Let's say that whenever you close the support ticket for a high priority client, you want to send out an email to them thanking them for trusting you with their issue and assuring them that you will be available for any further assistance. Instead of having to sit down and drafting the email individually, you can set up stage automation, which will automatically send out that email whenever a high priority client's customer support ticket is moved to the closed stage. Just click on stage automation. And now the trigger in this case is that any record moves to the close stage in your customer support pipeline. The criteria is that the customer is a high priority one. And now the action that we want to execute is that we have to send them an email. Click on send email, enter a name for your reference. Now, the recipient of this email is going to be the customer. And you can choose the template. If you haven't created the template, you can do so using the create template button. And then you can choose the from and reply to addresses. Once that is done, click on save. Click on save, and stage automation is now created. Every time a high priority client's request is moved to the close stage, an email will automatically be sent out to them. This will completely eliminate any errors on your team's side, and will also save your team a ton of time. Now we've understood how automation can help you manage even minute aspects of various business operations. Let's take a look at another feature built in telephony, which played a big part across all of these business operations. I'd like to know how many of you have set up a telephony system in Begin. I'm going to post a poll and I request you all to engage with the same. From what I see, on 88% of you are yet to set up your telephony system. And let me just tell you, you are missing out on a world of opportunity. By setting up Begin's built-in telephony, you will be able to make, receive, and record phone calls without leaving Begin. And the best part, you will be able to attend every call with all the required context which is available in Begin. Where does automation come in, you might ask? Well, Bigil will automatically log all the calls that you take, thus eliminating the need for you to manually schedule the calls and to log in the calls that you've already taken. With that, we've now understood all the features which will help you automate actions within Begin. But with some of our powerful integrations, you will be able to automate actions across different business apps. With Begin's integrations with Zoho Flow and Zapier, you will be able to automate the transfer and management of data between thousands of apps and Begin. Let's say that Zilker collects appointments for installation through Calendly. All they have to do is link Begin with Calendly through either of these integrations, and they'll be able to create a workflow which will automatically create an event in Begin whenever an appointment is created in Calendly. Another such integration which will help you automate lead generation is Begin's integration with Lead Chain. By enabling this integration, you will be able to capture all the leads which were generated through social media ads run on Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok and store them in Begin's contacts module.